by the Supreme Court could change a patent law that would affect thousands of small businesses. The case revolves around a company called Impression Products, which was refilling and reselling desktop laser toner cartridges made by Lexmark International. Lexmark sued, citing patent infringements, which an appeals court upheld. Advocacy groups say Lexmark is trying to expand intellectual property rights that would put some resale companies out of business. Eric Smith is the owner of Impression Products, and Paul Hughes is with Mayer Brown, the firm representing Eric. So good to see both of you.
Hi, JJ.
Good to see you, JJ. Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to come talk to us. I want to unpack what this case is. So why don't we just start with you, Paul? If you can explain to us what's at stake here.
Sure, JJ. This case addresses two really important issues about ownership rights. When a patentee manufactures a good and they sell it, typically the purchaser of that good acquires the rights to that item and can do what they want with it. There are two really important issues here. The first is whether or not a patentee, after selling the good, can restrict the way in which the purchaser either resells or repairs those goods. Lexmark's position is that a patentee can prevent the purchaser from either reselling a good that they lawfully purchased or from repairing it. The second question is when a patentee sells a good outside the United States, whether U.S. businesses and consumers may purchase that good outside the United States and bring it into the United States for use without violating the patent law. Both of these questions are just fundamental about the nature of ownership of patented goods and whether or not there are robust resale and repair markets for those goods.
Okay, so let's now bring it down to what you have been doing, Eric. Can you explain exactly what your business does and what they are now telling you you can't do, or Lexmark is telling you you can't do? We'll see what the Supreme Court says.
Thank you, JJ. Impression Products is a family-owned business headquartered out of Charleston, West Virginia. And JJ, we specialize in desktop laser printers, making the supplies, the toner cartridges that go in these printers. And then for anyone that buys the toner cartridges through our company, Impression Products, we also give away a free on-site printer support warranty, basically letting the customer know that these cartridges are fully guaranteed and will work just as good as the OEM product.
And you've been doing this for 40 years. About? Am I right about that?
What?
This company's been around for how long?
40 years, yes.
40
yes,
years.
Ma'am. It started in my father started the company, Walter Smith, in 1978. Oddly enough, selling ribbons for typewriters and printers.
And did something materially change about your business that this issue has come up now?
No, not at all. I think Lexmark just found a way to. They found a little loophole here in the system, and I think it gave them the idea to come after me and a lot of my contemporaries in our industry. And fortunately, I was the one that said, I just don't think this is right. We're not doing anything wrong here. And, you know, JJ, when you're making a product and you believe in the product and you have employees that you went to kindergarten with or went to high school with that are work paycheck to paycheck trying to get to the retire, you know, that have been with you for 20, 30 years and you want to see them retire with your company, it's just not something when a competitor comes in and tells you, cease and desist what you're doing because we don't want to compete with you because you're kicking our butt here in the marketplace. You need to go away. That's just not something. If you're a competitor and you believe in what you're doing, you're going to stand up and fight, and that's what we're doing.
And Paul, you're obviously broadening this from this particular company and what's happening with Impression Products. From your perspective, what are the implications here?
The implications are enormous. The question is whether or not there can be resale markets for patented goods, and that includes virtually anything. That includes cars, cell phones, any equipment that companies buy and use in their production. If Lexmark's rule is correct, the seller of those goods can say, once you purchase it, you don't have the right to resell it on the open market, or you don't have the right to repair it. Or they can say you can only sell to licensed dealers who will buy it at fixed prices. That's not how competition works. Our economy has always had robust secondary used markets, and that's a fundamental aspect of this case.
So what is, because the appeals courts upheld Lexmark's argument of patent infringement, what is the biggest argument that you are trying to argue against?
Honestly, we think that the Court of Appeals just misunderstood long-standing Supreme Court precedent that's existed for more than 150 years. The Supreme Court has always fully endorsed secondary markets for all sorts of patented goods, and we simply think that the Court of Appeals misapplied what existing Supreme Court precedent says. We think that's why the Supreme Court took this case, in order to make sure that those markets remain viable and that competition is allowed to proceed.
Got it. Well, thank you both so much for stopping by Unpack.